G'day everyone, I have a story to tell. It's a really simple one, but it's a bummer and it illustrates a few kind of dystopian points that I think are just worthy of a conversation and a vlog. So I got scammed and I wanted to sort of share the experience, obviously to like inform and warn some of you to be wary of some of this stuff, but also just to discuss what is at play here because it's really interesting. So for context, I am working on a book. Many of you know I'm gearing up to working on this epic anatomy book that has been sort of brewing in the digestive early stages so far. There's been a lot of research. I've bought a whole bunch of like reference books and other things to sort of learn from and get ideas. And we had our first official, we had a 2-hour meeting today to sort of block out the mapping of like what the content of the book is. And I'm really quite excited about that. But a couple of weeks back, obviously me searching all this stuff has meant that my data is available to advertisers. And I got served this ad for a book on like drawing and I bought it. I went to the website. I'm like, first of all, the ad struck me as really, like it just caught my attention. I went to the website, I upsold myself and bought the bundle of 4 because I thought, hey, that book looks good. They sell it for 4 of them for 20% off. And I'm looking for, like, I want more references for this, how to draw, like, process. So I just got the bundle of 4, spent $95 US, which isn't nothing. It's a good amount of money. And I left the link because I downloaded it a week or so later. But I was so struck by how effective that process was on me at the time that I actually went back. I just screen recorded the ad because I was like, that's really interesting. I should learn from that. If I spent $100 on resources because this ad served to me, what did it communicate to me? How was it presented? I filmed that because I thought, you know, I might want to do the same thing in a year from now, like to share the book that I'm going to be working hard on with a team. You know, there's a lesson there. They advertise effectively, and I'm going to need to do that once I have a product. Anyways, I'm going to start off by showing you the ad that I was served. It's by this group, Comic Pencil. This is the ad. This was my screen recording. And I'm scrolling through Facebook. This immediately shows up, and I'm just like, immediately I'm attracted to the illustrations. Like I'm immediately, for me personally, I like these sort of really exaggerated styles. It seems just on a surface level, you sort of think, okay, yeah, there seems to be guidance and instructions and some clarity in terms of like creating distinctions. So like just on a surface level, and then it's like you get that impression, and then the next impression is look at all the material, right? So it's a digital only book. They present it as a physical book in the ad. I'm not fussed with that. Like in my impression, like on the website, it's very clear that it's digital download in all the pages, and having digital downloads shop myself, I can understand sort of presenting it in a way that people will understand more, but obviously there's some people have friction there. But actually the issue I had is when I downloaded the content to check out my new books, and I want to take you through that experience because that is an interesting experience. So I'm going to start with, first of all, it arrives like this. You get 4 PDFs, and I'm just going to open the first one I opened, which was Guidebook 4. Here it is, Female Illustration Comic Guidebook Series. Okay, so we got some females here. There is page 1, female. And then we just have a bunch of eyes. Eye, front, female. I'm like, this is the first time I'm flicking through this. I'm like, oh, okay. Eye, front, eye, side, eye, side. And then by this stage, I'm like 4 pages in. And then I'm like, uh-oh, I think I know what's happened here. Then I go back and I realize, okay, well, there's no name. There's no person attached to this. So then before looking further, the next thing I do is go to the website. So this is the website. This is where they sell it. This is the homepage. And the first thing I do in going here is like, I need a name. I need to see who put this together. So homepage, what have we got? Okay, it's advertising its series through anatomy, learn to draw, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine, step by step, will take you, we produce, blah, blah, blah. About Comic Pencil. So this is the stuff I'm looking for. We produce content and books about portrait, blah, 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 blah. All products are created by artists who have studied portrait painting for many years. Who? Who has started? Where is their name, right? We will do our best to help you improve your drawing skills. Would you like to draw a wonderful portrait with us, right? And then they show some reviews and whatever. Okay, and I'm like looking like, where is this artist? Like if someone spent years working on this, where is this artist, right? And surprise, surprise, it's nowhere to be seen. And aside from being able to purchase the products and presenting the best of their material to sort of make it as sellable as possible, there's actually no information, and there's barely any information on what's in the contents of the books, because like this female illustration one, all they do is like, you know, really surface level reference, but they don't give you enough time to actually soak in, because when you look closer, when you go through here, you start to notice the artifacts. You start to recognize that these eyes aren't hand-drawn, because this one on the left, like just the way that the pupils are proportioned, or the way that like just little rendering artifacts that make it clear that this is artificial intelligence. This is not hand-drawn. These are either pilfered from other people, but much more likely AI. So this is just a compilation of like renders from AI stuff that have been cropped, presented nicely and marketed effectively, and are selling for far more value than they actually offer. And obviously based on very specific artist styles, but there's no name, you know? So like I'll go all the way to the end of the book. Whoops, I went to, I hate these iPad interfaces. Go away. I just want to turn the page. Go. I want this one. There you go. So if I go to the very end, there you go, nothing. So it ends with like a final example. So it's chock full of just stuff, right? But that's it. There's actually no credit given at all, which is the biggest giveaway that this is AI. So that's like these compilation books, the male-female ones, are the clearest indicators that it was AI, and they're the ones that I opened up first. But these ones, these comic guidebooks, are purported to be more tutorialized. So if I go to the start of this, we have the same sort of thing where there's no credit and there's no like, you know, table of contents or anything really thoughtful. And as soon as you're looking at it with a view of like, okay, well, this must be AI, you realize, okay, well, this could have been copied, pasted from somewhere, given to ChatGPT and said, reword this in different words or whatever. Like half the time the text barely correlates with what's being shown, and there's no clear demonstration of like what is this? Like combine the ball with other basic forms like that. Okay. How? What are we? I don't understand, right? This is, in this one, we see the final outcome, and then we see the step-by-step on the right. In later examples, we have the final outcome, and we're going backwards, step-by-step, to like nothing. Like, it just makes no sense as a guide. Why are we doing our construction without the chin? Why are we, like, I don't understand. It's just so poorly thought out, because it was only thought out enough to be convincing on a surface level to be purchased. That is the entire purpose of this, and that's really disappointing. And I wasted my money, and I tried to contact them to get my money back. Obviously haven't heard back from them, but like look at this, variety and spacing creates types. In order to create different types, differences in type and character, you may decide not to follow the basic measurements or divisions too meticulously by varying the proportions of the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, these are the examples it gives. These are the proportions, I guess. There's no variance. These, like, foundational things that these different illustrations are supposed to be based on as examples are almost identical. There's no clarity how you get from that to that, because there's not meant to be. The other thing I find really interesting is the drawing of these examples is a different caliber of drawing. It's really interesting, because I think whoever compiled this drew the portions leading up to the outcome. You know what I mean? So in order to make it look like a step-by-step guide, I think they got final renderings from AI, and I think they, whoever it is, sort of sketched over it to create the reduced sort of detailed versions to make it look like it's a step-by-step guide. But the skill that is represented through this AI generated image, which is frankly what I would bet good money it is still a very different level of skill to this, which I believe is hand drawn and traced on top of that, just sort of poorly, because you can see the line control and the quality of the drawing in these is far worse than that. So we've been compiled this book of how to draw. See, look, that's a great example. Like these heads, what is that compared to that? It's the level of yeah. Anyways, I think I made my point clear. I don't recommend checking it out in more detail or getting those books. I'm not going to get my money back. It's a real shame. And just to confirm my suspicions, not that it's a confirmation, but just to show that this can be done quite easily, I just went into Midjourney just to sort of reverse engineer it. So we've got, I just gave it the prompt, how to draw a book in a head profile, blah, 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 in the style of J. Scott Campbell, just with sketches and basic lines. And just like that, bam, that comes up in like a second. Easily, any of these could have been in that book. And all you have to do is add a few scribbly sketch lines underneath. Same sort of thing here with a male, with that sketchy aesthetic. Very easily, there it is. So it's really interesting, and it's quite conflicting, and it just goes to show the moral, ethical ambiguity of AI now, and how it's impacting artists. I could have paid that $95 to the people whose style that was based on, or it was used. I might have bought J. Scott Campbell How to Draw book, which I've bought some of those. And it's interesting. Many of you will have noticed I haven't made an AI video in over a year now. I've been quite into technology all my life. I've always made AI videos, and I was very vehemently for the technology, very excited about it. And I use it. I use AI art in a generative, brainstorming, developmental way all the time. We use it here in the studio in bits and pieces, but never in a way that pushes anything out or reallocates resources that should go to people to gain more profit or to anything like that. But it does, this experience is another experience that sort of shows that misleading people can be empowered in ways that's really unfortunate. It's a shame. There's no winner here, because I don't have a better reference for how to draw, or how to even make a how to draw book. They're terrible guides. I'm not following those at all. But they're marketed well, and I'm sure they've made a lot of money from that, which is a real bummer. So please don't support them. If anything, please feel free to blast Comic Pencil. What's it called? Comic Pencil, with negative reviews and stuff, because they're not responding to criticism. They're not crediting artists. It's very unethical, and there's no clarity or transparency, and it's a real shame. And there's not much to add to that. I think I've blabbed enough, but I think we'll see more and more of this stuff over time, which is a real shame. And I think I am conflicted, because at the end of the day, and this is a whole separate conversation and video, I'm not anti-AI. And that's the weird thing to feel, is I'm, it feels like I'm not anti-nuclear energy or nuclear fusion, but clearly there are technologies that can be used very harmfully. So AI art is one of those things where it's incredible and really valuable, but there's dangers there, both in terms of how it's produced and where it gets its information needs to be more ethically thought out and needs to be more transparent. And then how it's used on the other end, people need to be educated and understand, that everyone has access to this tool and can use it in whatever ways they want. Ooh, excuse me. I'm going to wrap up with the question of the day. This one is from Cobster Pro, who says, any further plans on experimenting with Procreate Dream? It's funny that that's the one that we asked, because I have my iPad Pro and I have Procreate, and I have, there it is, Procreate Dreams, which I've never used before. I've bought it. I haven't used it yet, but it looks cool. So I don't have plans, but it's there. It's floating around. It looks really cool. I'm interested into. It's a conflict though, because much like how my alarm went off and stopped the recording, I hope I hadn't ruined it all. Anyways, I'll just stitch these two clips together. That's the answer to the question is, I don't have plans to play with Procreate Dreams, but I have Procreate Dreams and I would like to play with it one day. Let's see what happens. Let me know what you'd like to see in it. Let me know your questions of the question of the day down in the description. Otherwise, it's a Friday, so I'm going to go have a weekend. So I hope you guys have a great weekend too. Bye. Don't get scammed.